Welcome back to Laugh to Keep from Crying. You're tuned in with CJanae After Dark. Just remember, I'm sharing this to heal, never to hurt. Last time, we talked about the switch up, how I moved from my mom's to my aunt's, and what middle school looked like for me. Today, we're stepping into something I really don't talk about often. Something I've spent years trying to block out. High school. So let's talk about it. Ooh, those years were rough. Honestly, they were more than rough. I chose a school that I thought would suit me, mostly because people from my middle school were going there. It felt like the easier choice. And truthfully, I didn't think I was smart enough for the better schools, the magnet schools, even though I actually got into some of them. I still didn't believe I belonged there. So, I picked what felt safe. I thought high school would be a fresh start. I thought uniforms might ease the pressure, maybe even stop the bullying. But no, that didn't happen. I started high school already carrying the weight of rumors. People were saying I smelled, that I was dirty, or that my private parts stink. Wild, cruel lies. It was humiliating, and I never understood why. I hadn't done anything to deserve it. I tried to fit in, to laugh with the girls who seemed like they were friends, but the more I tried, the more I felt like I didn't belong anywhere. So I just kept my head down and pushed through the day. There were cliques, like something out of a teen TV show. The jocks, popular girls, the nerds, outcasts, and then people like me, stuck somewhere in the middle. Not cool, but not weird enough to be completely ignored. I usually sat at lunch with a small group, maybe 3 to 5 of us. We weren't flashy. We didn't have the freshest outfits or the wildest stories. We were just trying to make it through. Let me paint the picture. There were 3 different lunch lines. One for cold hoagies, one for nuggets, pizza, whatever they had, the hot lunch. And then there was that line, the one where the popular kids got the wings and chips, fries, the good stuff. That line, I avoided it. Not because I didn't want to be there, but because I couldn't afford it. I wasn't living with my mom, so when I got a few dollars, I had to stretch it. My grandma helped out when she could, my aunt too, but I didn't have a job. I made do with what I had. And yeah, people talked. If you were eating regular school lunch, that somehow meant you were broke. But I didn't care anymore. I was hungry, I ate. Gym class, pure embarrassment. Not because I was lazy or out of shape, but because I wasn't athletic. I didn't know how to do half the exercises. And the teachers didn't help. They made me feel like I wasn't even trying. Now, let's talk about my best friend at the time. She wore glasses. People considered her nerdy, but she was my person. We were inseparable, to the point that people started calling her my sidekick, like I was the main character and she was just tagging along. And I think that did something to her. like it made her feel small. Eventually, she stopped wearing her glasses. Maybe she wanted to redefine herself. I don't know. We started talking less. It was like a, it wasn't like a fight or anything. We just drifted. And that one hurt more than I let on. Every day I had to catch 3 buses just to make it to school. It was exhausting, mentally and physically. Some days I ate lunch in the classroom just to get a break from people, just to breathe. I wasn't thriving. I wasn't failing either. I was just surviving. And then came the boys. Now, before we go any further, I want to give a gentle heads up. This episode includes topics like emotional abuse, neglect, and experiences of being taken advantage of. If you're not in the right headspace to hear that right now, take care of yourself and come back when you're ready. So, there was this one boy, kinda popular, not the finest, not the worst, but somehow he noticed me, and I think I liked that. We ended up alone one day, not even for a full hour. He tried to touch me. I told him no. I told him someone was coming. I didn't want it to go that far. But when he went back to school, he told everyone that I let him hit. And just like that, a lie became the story, and I had to live with it. Sometimes I wonder if I let that moment even happen just because I wanted someone to want me, to choose me, to see me. But wanting to be seen didn't mean I wanted that. Truth is, sometimes I let boys have their way with me, not because I was looking for pleasure, but because I was looking for value. I wanted to feel something, but there was no love, no care, no safety, just me, alone afterward, trying to understand what it meant, trying to act like I was okay. They never wanted anything real. They were supposed to be friends, but once it was over, I was just a secret again, right back out the door. And maybe it's because I never had those real conversations growing up. It was always use protection, don't bring home any babies, but no one ever talked about self-worth, about love, or about being enough without giving pieces of yourself away. How could I be in the business of pleasing other people and getting nothing out of it? Most of them moved on with their lives and never gave me a second thought. Later on, I started dating a boy, the same one I mentioned back in my middle school story. Even though I was dating someone popular, that didn't mean I fit in with his world. His friends weren't my friends, and honestly, it felt like he wanted our relationship more in private than anything. Like I was good enough to be with, just not good enough to be seen. It started okay. He seemed cool. And at first, being with him gave me something to look forward to. I leave school early sometimes and go to his house. Made sure I got home before my grandma started asking questions. My aunt, she was usually still at work. But being with him, it started feeling off, messy, like I wasn't in control of anything. He called the shots. What we did, where we went, even when I ate. If I wanted something, he might get it, but only if I did what he wanted first. By the time I got into that relationship, honestly, I had already been through a lot. I had let boys have their way with me, not because I really wanted it, but because I just wanted someone to want me. And even though deep down I knew what it was, I still told myself he was my first. That's what I wanted to believe in my head, because at least then, it would have felt like I had some kind of say in it. Like, maybe that moment was different. But I still let him control me. I thought it was love. I thought I could rewrite my story like none of the stuff from my past ever happened. When I was finally When was I finally going to be happy? I was just a teenager and still so far away from real happiness. And then one day, it got worse. We got into it so bad, he hit me so hard I didn't think I was going to make it home. I went back to my dad's that night, and for once, it felt like someone cared, even if no one said anything. I told my dad I had bad cramps, so bad I had to go to the hospital. I think he knew I was lying, but he never asked. The next day at school, I left the hospital bracelet on. I didn't want to explain anything. I didn't want anyone to ask. I just wanted to feel like I was in control. Because in his mind, I think he was scared, at least for a moment, that I'd tell someone. Honestly, I should have ended the relationship then, but I didn't. And the crazy part, even after all of that, even after he hurt me, I still wasn't going to go to my parents, teachers, or the cops and ruin his life. Deep down, I still cared. I don't know why, but I did. There are moments I look back on and I don't even know if it counted, if it was intimacy or coercion or just plain pressure. Sometimes I question if I ever had a say in any of it, and that confusion, it stays with you. But I didn't have the words for any of it then. All I knew was that being wanted felt better than being invisible. At home, things were much better. At my aunt's, my cousin had a boyfriend who was abusive, scary, the kind of scary that makes you quiet and tense all the time. Eventually, I had to leave. It got that bad. It was really starting to get to me. So I figured I would do a trial run living with my dad. But that didn't go well either. Me and my stepmom didn't get along at all. I come home, do my homework, and sometimes she wouldn't even tell me dinner was ready. The food would be put away by the time I even realized. If I told my dad, he'd offer to get me something, but if he did, she stopped speaking to him. So most nights, I didn't eat. Eventually, I started buying my own little things, snacks, small stuff, just so I can have something. But that didn't matter either. Once I wrote my name on it, she wrote me a long, nasty letter. This is my house, not your dad's. Don't you ever write your name on anything in this house again. Blah, blah, blah. All of that over snacks. Snacks I used to buy for myself. Stuff they didn't even buy. My brothers would eat all of it if I didn't write my name on it. And honestly, I didn't like most of the food they brought home anyway. Half the time, I was scared to even go in the kitchen and grab something. So writing my name on my own things, that was a problem too. I remember dragging laundry baskets to the bus stop so I can wash clothes at my aunt's. It was heavy and humiliating. Because of how things were going, I decided to stay at my aunt's for the summer. But by the time I came back to my dad's, all of my things had been packed up and left in the garage. When I asked my stepmom about it, she said, I thought you moved out. And I mean, we're cool now, me and my stepmom, but back then, I honestly don't even know why we were beefing. I don't know if it was me or her or I can't even remember. So I moved back in with my aunt. And honestly, I don't even remember how things with my cousin and her crazy boyfriend ended. Maybe she finally got tired of him hitting her. Maybe she left. I just know I was still a kid, still searching for safety and never really finding it. So yeah, those were the early years of high school. They weren't about dances or dates or finding my tribe. They were about survival. I mean, things do change, but honestly, I think they get more rough before they ever got better. Part two, that's when everything starts to shift. It gets deeper, messier, more complicated, and way more real. Well, Well, that's it for this episode. Thank you for listening to CGNA After Dark. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you in the next episode.